everyone. Today I've got your Lone Ranger movie review. This movie stars Johnny Depp and Armie Hammer in a movie that is directed by Gore Verbinski, who collaborated with Johnny Depp in the Pirates of the Caribbean films. I was unsure if I was going to see this or not, so it was sort of a last-minute decision for me to go see this. I haven't really been much of a fan of Johnny Depp, even though I know he can be a chameleon in his work. Like, he just loves to transform into any character he can get his hands on. I haven't really had much knowledge of like what Lone Ranger was and what it really was about, so I didn't really go into this movie knowing too much about it. I just wanted to see it just because. After seeing it, I wasn't really sure what to make of it. I know that, it's a Disney movie, and of course it had all these like crazy mind-blowing special effects, probably for kids' sake, but honestly I did not like it at all. I found it to be a little bit overwhelming, and it did not seem right, and especially for it being kind of a Western type movie, I just did not feel that they did the franchise justice. Don't even get me started about justice, because the Lone Ranger has to step in and do all this stuff where he has to hunt these bad guys down, some guys that did some bad things. I would say, however, I was intrigued by the casting, and I was actually surprised by some of the casting choices. I was not surprised, obviously. Johnny Depp, enough said, and I just feel like, honestly, enough is enough when it comes to these characters. How long is he going to be able to do movies like this? And I just feel like watching him on screen, I feel like every movie he does, especially when he makes these characters, I just don't know if I can take him seriously as an actor. Yeah, everybody can say he's good, but I just don't think he's the best thing ever. The same thing can go with Armie Hammer. Like, I was surprised that even he would want to be in a movie like this. It seemed really different for him. I had seen him in, obviously, The Social Network, so I kind of liked him in that kind of role, and I would like to see him in more roles like this, but not in this movie. Nuh-uh, definitely not. I would say, yeah, he looked kind of cool as the Lone Ranger, but I just don't think, he was definitely not alone, because he had Tonto by his side, Johnny Depp in his crazy full-on Indian makeup, and it was just absolutely crazy, and it almost was distracting, especially like in a western-y type movie. I feel like they were just making a mockery of the entire franchise, and it just seemed that way, even though I hadn't previously seen anything about Lone Ranger, and this is the only time I've ever seen something about Lone Ranger. Can't really judge it too much based off of that aspect alone, but I would just say my overall experience with the casting was just crazy. Helena Bonham Carter was also in this movie, and I noticed that especially when I saw the trailer for Lone Ranger. I said, oh, whoop-de-doo, another Johnny Depp, Helena Bonham Carter collaboration. Where's Tim Burton when you need him? Why didn't he get on this shtick? And I don't know, I guess she was okay. I just feel like, how much more can you see with this duo? Every movie I'm just going to expect to see one or the other in their movies, especially if the main guy, Johnny Depp, is the star of the movie, even though it should be Armie Hammer, because it is called Lone Ranger. It's not called Tonto. If they wanted to make a movie about Tonto, they would have called it Tonto. But hopefully that will not happen. I don't want to see any spin-offs. A few other actors to mention. Tom Wilkinson, I definitely thought like he was unrecognizable at first. The only thing that I was able to recognize was his voice. So I was like, that is Tom Wilkinson. He's a beast. So yeah, I was just excited to see his character. He always plays a good, menacing bad guy, or someone you just don't want to mess with. William Fichtner was in this, and I had seen him in the trailer. I was like, wait, that can't be him. And then yes, sure enough it is. You just have to get a good look at him. I would say definitely the action was there, explosions, and there was a little bit of comedy, but it fell short, and I just did not like it at all. I can't even believe I watched this movie. It was like total waste of my money, and just crazy. That Definitely, like, there was trying to be a story there. Especially in the beginning of the movie, it almost felt like Night of the Museum. If you go watch the opening sequence, and you think of Night of the Museum, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It was just absolutely crazy. Overall, I did not like this movie. I would never see it again. And I think it is actually kind of a bad thing, especially looking at a financial aspect, for Walt Disney Company. Just Johnny Depp. Like, I just feel like they're going to lose a lot of money on this movie. And it seemed like a movie that had a huge budget. I don't know exactly, but it just looked like it cost a lot of money to make. And, I mean, going into this, I just don't think it was absolutely worth it to make, or they could have gone in a different direction and kept a little less comedy. And I don't know, I don't want to say it's more serious, and I know that they wanted to gear it more towards kids and families to watch this, especially for those who've actually grown up watching Lone Ranger or know of Lone Ranger. I don't know. If you are one of those people, let me know in the comments what you guys thought of the Lone Ranger, and if you feel like this movie wasn't what you pictured and expecting, and it was just absolutely a disgrace to, you know, who this character is. And no offense to Armie Hammer, but I just think, and it has nothing to do with the actor at all. It's just the whole concept just was terrible. I did not like it. Do you think that Johnny Depp has gone off the deep end? Do you think he should stick with these characters that he just loves to immerse himself in? Or should he go on to more, like, just looking like himself? You know, because I would just love to see that more often. As always, you guys can subscribe to my channel. I've got more movie reviews, movie updates, and come back every week for a Trail Thursday video. You guys can also like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you guys